Some examples would be that some people have headaches, as you said. A lot of people even have ulcers.
Digestive issues.
Digestive issues is one of the biggest concerns. Even arthritis and hypertension and blood pressure concerns. It's just in a lot of ways that, in people in India have a lot of physical issues that come up in many different ways, yeah.
When your mind is not able to find out that you're anxious or that you're stressed, or maybe even that you are feeling very sad, it is going to manifest as physical symptoms.
Right.
Could you explain a bit more about how our mental stress can manifest as physical symptoms?
Right. I think the main takeaway of this entire topic is that you cannot work on your mental health if you are not going to focus on your physical health.
Vice versa too.
Vice versa too. And that's the most important aspect, because what we can take away from this is that we need to start working on the both aspects of health together if you're going to achieve overall health. As I was saying, mental health and physical health, they cannot be separated, right? Like they have to be, if you're trying to achieve overall health, you have to put them together. So as you were saying that how your mental health concerns can be manifested as physical illnesses, it's true. And the funny part about this is, especially in India, the prevalence of mental health illnesses are quite a bit. There are quite a bit of prevalence of mental illnesses. And the thing is, I understand that India is still developing in its destigmatization of mental health, how mental health is being perceived by the people, right? But let's admit it, physical illnesses are more acceptable than mental illnesses. So what happens is that a lot of people lack that social support because of, the mental health stigma that people still hold. When you have that mental issues in your life, you're unable to communicate and seek support. But as I said, what your mind cannot express, your body will find a way. So what happens is that even if you don't have that social support, even if in India it's not acceptable, it will show up in more acceptable ways, which is through physical illnesses. That's why a lot of psychosomatic, which is basically mental illnesses that show up in physical manifestations, psychosomatic illnesses show up in a lot of people in the country. So some examples would be that some people have headaches, as you said. A lot of people even have ulcers.
Digestive issues.
Digestive issues is one of the biggest concerns. Even arthritis and hypertension and blood pressure concerns. It's just in a lot of ways that, in people in India have a lot of physical issues that come up in many different ways, yeah.
One more example of how our mind and body is connected is through anger. Why do we feel so uncomfortable in our body when we are angry? It is in the mind, right? So this itself is an understanding how our mind and body is connected.
Absolutely.
Our mind is showing us that we are angry. Our body is portraying that for us through whatever symptoms any person faces.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
We spoke about how physical symptoms are more acceptable in India, but mental health symptoms aren't that acceptable, right? Even though we are having a lot of progress, there has been a lot of shame when it comes to accepting that I'm depressed or I have a mental health condition.
Right.
Even when it comes to workplaces, we are more open to taking leaves for physical symptoms.
Right.
For example, if a person is feeling very anxious that day, or if a person has been feeling depressed, they would give a reason of a physical health symptom but not a mental health symptom. And even in terms of acceptance, when we say that I'm feeling very depressed, I cannot come for work today, it is not seen as a viable reason. It is taken as an excuse rather than a condition.
Absolutely.
What do you have to say about that?
I think I completely agree with you. This aspect that mental health concerns are really excuses is something very important to talk about, because even now, even with a lot of development happening in this area, you're right, I do feel like, the entire aspect of work leave is still wrapping its head around mental health leaves. And I can see the development happening, but you're right. Like, I think it's still lagging somewhere, wherein people are still making physical leaves more of a bigger concern than mental health leaves. Because, yeah, as we said, like, you know, that shame or that feeling that, okay, people might think that I'm making excuses, because there is no like proper evidence when you see someone going through a mental health concern.
Exactly, yeah.
I think people need a lot of evidence, right? So, because not all mental health concerns can have an outright physical manifestation. So, I guess people avoid expressing that part of themselves because it may seem like an excuse. Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Click on the bell icon to watch our latest videos.